Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Nia Desian show. Very excited to be here. And if this is your first time of watching and being here, welcome to the show. Here I share snippets or small, short, um, you know, uh, resources or just few resources to help SMEs thrive, small and medium-sized enterprises. Of course, this platform is for informative and educative purposes only. Always advise you to seek the advice of a professional. And of course, if you don't have a CPA working with you, please, that's our website, my program website, please navigate to the CPA platform where you can actually set up a consult. Right. Today is just a few questions answered. I'm just going to answer a few of some highlights on the questions, on some questions that common questions that have come in and people have asked. And I just said, you know what, I will just answer maybe a few here. And today will just be question answering for year end question answering um, uh, or question answered for the year end. I know a lot of times some people have questions and just to highlight some things, right? And and hopefully it will help somebody. Of course, again, you have to seek the seek audience with a professional, right? So these are just high end up there questions. I know that one of the questions that come up and which continues to come up is the classification of workers. And I know that there's the issue of I want to make this person a 1099. I want this person to be an employee. Um, it's very important for you to really look into that classification and see if there's any where the client the worker falls under. You do not want to classify that person as a worker, so as a 1099, which is a contractor when the person is supposed to be an employee. So there are a lot of criteria. There are about 20 points, and I'm not going to go through the points, but generally it's just about control. How much do you control the person's work generally? And of course, again, this is not just for that question. I would say please dig in to make sure that, yes, you hire a person that is a 1099. If the person is a 1099 worker, and if the person is not, make sure you hire the person as an employee. There's nothing wrong with hiring someone as a 1099 worker if the person qualifies. I mean, of course, it's cheaper for any business to do that. But of course, there's a caveat. Remember, I said if that person qualifies to be that worker. If the person or that 1099 worker, if not, 1099 is contractor. If not, please move that person to be an employee because there's penalties and interest that will happen if you misclassify your worker, right? Make sure that you do that. And if you feel that you've been doing that incorrectly, there are ways to go about it where you can come up and tell the IRS, I made a mistake. I want to correct what I did and just move forward. And there's ways to do that. So if you have some doubt, we can work with you to make sure that it's fixed. All right. And that's one of the questions. And then another question that comes up is, oh, you know what? I'm interested in buying a vehicle this end of the year. This is rounding up. What do I do? And of course, when we say what do I do, I'm sure you say walk into the dealership and buy a vehicle. No, the question is coming on the aspect of how do I get the most deduction, right? Of course, there are some credits out there. I mean, we have the clean energy credit where people, I mean, clean, um, uh, energy, meaning that people are using electrical cars. There's a credit out there. There are other credits out there too regarding um, depending on, of course, green, the kind of car. But in addition to that, in addition to getting that credit, I would say that the higher, it just depends on the higher the pound of the car, right? And of course, higher the pound of the car, right? And we can look into that to look at what we mean by higher, right? So we look into to that to make sure that you are really looking at which car works, right? And then of course, I know the question comes up: Do I lease? Do I buy the car? I mean, I know I have a program I show on that alone, but just to highlight some things that leasing or which is more effective. It's just this is, that's why the beauty of this program is not only tax wise. There are other things we look at to make sure that this is your best option, right? Okay, so Do you have the money to get into it, depositing money for the vehicle? Are you looking at buying it outright? Do you think it's better to, because you want to change your car often? Are you gonna drive more than um the mileage that you required when it comes to a lease? A lease gives a fixed amount, but if you drive more than the required amount, of course, there's an issue. Now, of course, we have lease inclusion, meaning that not everything is deductible, right? So looking at all those options, so when I say that, when you say, oh, do I lease, do I buy? It doesn't work like that. We have to just make sure we look at everything that pertains to you, and then we decide, okay, this, after looking at the facts, you can say, you know what? Yes, I'm going for leasing as opposed to buying, or I'm going to buy as opposed to leasing. It just depends. All right. Another question that usually comes up is that, you know what, I'm traveling sometimes. I travel, and is that travel, is it deductible? Is it possible for it to be deductible? I know I mentioned it here and there in one of my shows, but I'll just highlight some things. If it's business related, some people combine business with a vacation. That's fine. But make sure that the part that you're using as a vacation, some people go for business for 2 days, and the part they're using for vacation, those few days, that those days, that vacation days, are not deductible as a business owner. It's not deductible. So, but if you're going for a business related matter, right? You're going, maybe there's team building or something that is out there that you're going for, please go ahead and deduct those expenses, but always keep records. Make sure you keep records as much as possible, because you want to justify that, yes, you traveled, for example, to a certain, maybe city, a certain country. You travel, yes, this is why you traveled, but the travel was because you went to do something related to your business, and then you decided to take a couple of days for vacation, on vacation, right? There is nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't deduct that other aside and say this expense will be deducted, right? Because I just traveled. No, clear records, very important. All right. So that's another one. And I believe there's I think I can just can one more, right? I get this sometimes, right? And can I deduct my business clothes? I mean, I had a question that someone says, but I work as a manager in this office and I have to look good. Can I deduct my business clothes that I wear? And the question I always ask, because usually I don't really want to say no. The question is that, can you wear that attire to somewhere else, and would that the attire identify you as a staff of your company, right? What do I mean by that? Now, if I wear an attire and it's written there on my attire, have a something like a logo, or t-shirt that has any kind of logo or something like that, or a jacket logo, and there's a logo there, of course that is deductible, because I is even actually marketing, is a uniform, but it's also marketing, right? You can say, yes, this shows that I belong to, this is my product, right? But if you're talking about regular clothes, of course, if you wear regular clothes, there is no way that somebody would know. Will identify the clothes with where you're working, right? Or what you do. So definitely that is not deductible, right? So yes, you might have to look good as a manager, but that is not deductible. All right. So of course, unless there's a logo, of course, there are some clothes that you see that, even though you will be surprised, there's even a uniform, because you see the logos, but they look very good. So, but again, there's a logo or something there to show that this is for the company. I work for this company. All right. So these are just a few questions that have come up, and I said, you know what, let me just answer them. They're just a few that I believe that a lot of people have issues with, but of course, work with a professional to make sure that everything that I just said, aligns with your business objectives. All right. Thanks for being here today, right? And of course, you know that for an SME, for your business to thrive, you have to be intentional. And of course, this is for educative and informative purposes only. Thanks for being here.